Hello students, in the previous video we saw the sums of multiplication. Today we are going to solve the sums of division. So let's solve it. Solve the following. Sum A 4764 divided by 4. Students, before solving this sum, let's recall what is division. Students, we know that multiplication is a repeated addition, whereas division is a repeated subtraction. Students, we also know that answer in division is called quotient. So, now let us divide the given number 4764, which is called dividend, by 4, which is called divisor, and solve sum A. Students, we know that in division, we have to start dividing from left to right. That is, division is carried out from left to right. Students, on left hand side, 4 is given and 4 is equals to 4. That is, dividend is equal to divisor. So we have to take at a time only one digit, that is 4, and not all the 4 digits. Students, now we have to say table of 4 as divisor is 4, and we have to stop when we get 4. Thus, 4 ones are 4. So we have to write second factor 1 up, that is in the quotient, and product 4 down, that is exactly below the digit 4, that is in thousands place. Now we have to subtract 4 from 4. Thus, subtracting 4 from 4, we get 0. Students, we know that 0 is not divisible by 4. So we have to bring down 7 and we have to write 7 after 0, that is in hundreds place. Thus writing 7 after 0, the number becomes 7. Students, we know that 7 is 7. Students, now we have to say again table of 4, and we have to stop saying the table of 4 when we get 7 or more than 7. So now let us say table of 4. 4 ones are 4. 4 twos are 8. Students, as we got 8, so we have to stop saying the table. Students, we cannot subtract 8 from 7. So, we have to take 4 and we have to write second factor 1 in the quotient, and the product 4 down, that is below 7. Now, we have to subtract 4 from 7. Thus, subtracting 4 from 7, we get 3. Students, we have to bring down the next digit 6, as 3 is not divisible by 4. And we have to write 6 after 3. Thus the number becomes 36. Students, now we have to say again the table of 4, and we have to stop when we get 36 or more than 36. Students, we know that 4 nines are 36. So we have to write 9 in the quotient and 36 below 36. Students, now we have to subtract 36 from 36. Starting from right, thus subtracting 6 from 6, we get 0, and subtracting 3 from 3, we get 0. Students, 0 is not divisible by 4. So we have to bring down the next digit 4, and we have to write 4 after 0. Thus the number becomes 4. As 004 is 4. Students, now we have to say again the table of 4. As 4 ones are 4. So we have to write 1 in the quotient and product 4 below 4. Now we have to subtract 4 from 4. Thus subtracting 4 from 4, we get remainder 0. Thus 4764 divided by 4 equals to 1191. Now sum B. 2576 divided by 8. Students, we know that while dividing, first of all, we have to compare dividend with divisor, and we have to start dividing from left to right. In this sum, on left hand side, 2 is given, which is smaller than divisor 8. So, at a time, we have to take 2 digits, that is 25. Students, we also know that 2-digit number is always greater than 1-digit number. So, we have to divide 25 by 8. Students, we know that 25 is an odd number which is not divisible by any even number. So, we have to take the product less than 25 and the product closer to 25. So, now let us say table of 8 as divisor is 8 and stop when we get the product more than 25. So, now let us say the table of 8. 8 ones are 8. 8 twos are 16. 8 threes are 24. 8 fours are 32. Students, now we have to stop saying the table as we got the product more than 25. So we have to take 24 as 24 is less than 25. Also, it is closer to 25 compared to the product 16 and 8. Thus, writing second factor 3 in the quotient and product 24 exactly below 25. Students, now we know that we have to subtract 24 from 25 starting from right side. Thus, subtracting 4 from 5, we get 1. And subtracting 2 from 2, we get 0. Students, we know that 0, 1 is 1 and 1 is not divisible by 8. So, we have to bring down 7 and we have to write 7 after 1, that is in tens place. Thus, writing 7, we get 17. Students, now again we have to say table of 8 and we have to stop when we get the product more than 17. So now let us say the table of 8. 8 ones are 8, 8 twos are 16, 8 threes are 24. Students, we cannot subtract 24 from 17. So we have to take 16. Thus, writing 2 in quotient and 16 below 17. Students, now we have to subtract 16 from 17 starting from right side. Thus, subtracting 6 from 7, we get 1. And subtracting 1 from 1, we get 0. Students, we got 0, 1 and we know that 0, 1 is 1 which is not divisible by 8. So now we have to bring down 6 and we have to write 6 after 1. Thus the number becomes 16. Students, now again we have to say the table of 8. Students, we know that 8 twos are 16. So we have to write 2 up and 16 below 16. Now we have to subtract 16 from 16. Thus, subtracting 16 from 16, we get remainder 0. Thus, 2576 divided by 8 equals to 322. Now, sum C. 5280 divided by 15. Students, we know that two-digit number is always greater than one-digit number. So we have to take at a time two digits and not only one digit in this sum. Students, then we have to compare the two-digit number, that is 52 by 15. As we know that 52 is greater than 15. That is, dividend is greater than divisor. So we have to take at a time two digits and not all the four digits. Now we have to say table of 15 and we have to stop when we get the product more than 52. Students, we know that 15 threes are 45 and 15 fours are 60. We cannot subtract 60 from 52. So we have to take 45 and we have to write the second factor 3 in the quotient and the product 45 below 52. Thus, writing 3 in the quotient and 45 below 52. Now, we have to subtract 45 from 52 starting from right side. Students, we cannot subtract 5 from 2. So, we have to borrow. That is, we have to regroup thousands. Thus, subtracting 5 from 12, we get 7. And subtracting 4 from 4, we get 0. Students, we know that 0, 7 is 7 and 7 is not divisible by 15. So, we have to bring down 8 and we have to write 8 after 7 below. That is in tens place. Thus writing 8, the number becomes 78. Now we have to say again the table of 15. Students, we know that 15 5s are 75 and 15 6 are 90. We cannot subtract 90 from 78. So, we have to take 75 and we have to write the second factor 5 in the quotient and the product 75 below 78. Now we have to subtract 75 from 78 starting from right side. Thus subtracting 5 from 8 we get 3 and subtracting 7 from 7 we get 0. Students, we know that 3 is 3 and 3 is not divisible by 15. So we have to bring down the next digit 0 and we have to write 0 after 3. Thus writing 0 after 3, the number becomes 30. Now again we have to say the table of 15 and we have to stop when we get 30 or more than 30. Students, we know that 15 twos are 30. So we have to take 30 and we have to write the second factor 2 in the quotient and product 30 below 30. Now we have to subtract 30 from 30. Thus subtracting 30 from 30 we get remainder 0 and the quotient 352. Thus 5280 divided by 15 equals to 352.